Welcome to the Rambling Ranting Review Hour. We are here. We have gotten 10 chapters of Hunter x Hunter. Togashi has
Fuck yeah.
Hunter x Hunter finally blessed us again. So I think I don't know if we've ever done one of these reviews with you where you got to be a part of the Hunter x Hunter because you weren't caught up. Whatchamacallit? Any interesting thoughts you'd like to say about Hunter x Hunter, Zavul?
I mean, I generally really enjoy the series. The fact that Togashi can just do whatever the fuck he wants has always just been kind of a little bit of a delight. It sort of feels a little bit like the anti-shonen, just by virtue of completely disregarding any kind of like narrative boss hierarchy or anything like that, and just whatever the fuck Togashi wants to do on any given day. It's like, what we're doing video games now? Great. Archaeology? Fuck it. Auction houses? Yeah, all right. What's that, motherfucker? We're gonna have an entire backstory for the spiders, and it's just going to be about fan dubbing. I'm here for that.
I loved. It's so surprising how much I loved that backstory too.
I did not expect to get like a spider backstory amidst all of this. Which I guess like here's my issue, that like my frustration with Hunter x Hunter. I love Togashi's ability to just like go on these interesting weird tangents because they're always so interesting. Because like you're right, Hunter x Hunter is kind of like the anti-shonen, not because like some have argued it's a deconstruction, but I think that's like the wrong way to view it. Because it's just like whatever Togashi is interested in, and he just like uses Gon as the tool to go, because like being a hunter is like so fucking vague in terms of like what a hunter's responsibility is.
He doesn't even need Gon anymore. He literally sidelined the main character just because he felt like it, and it's still so wonderful.
That takes some fucking balls, and I am fucking here for that.
I know, it's
the
so
number
amazing.
Of times I have just been like, man, I really like this anime. If they would just like shove the main character out of the way. Oh my god, you shoved the main character out of the way.
He is so brave, and I so admire that as a from a storyteller, artist, like. He really inspires me.
Yeah, I do always love the boldness. I guess what makes me frustrated is like the lack of like I love the Succession War. I think the Succession War is such a fascinating arc. But what drives me insane about the Succession War is that, like, this is a man who keeps on saying, like, I'm in such pain, my body's crippled, I can't draw, I have to poop in my shower, I am just so horribly beaten because of this art, this horrible manga industry, and I refuse, I'm such a perfectionist, I will not allow assistance. And all right, motherfucker, then stop making more work for yourself. Like I didn't ask to know about, the 5 people who are Tessernick's best friends, who are now his like best friend like squad of like rich little kids who are like trying to think, ooh, how can we help Tessie-chan? Like you didn't need that. I assume you're gonna have a purpose for it, but if you have to poop in the shower for your art, then maybe you could have cut them out or have someone else draw them for you.
Like, sir, you have a net worth of something around $4 million. You can just stop. Anytime you want, you can just stop. We would understand. You have destroyed your back. You have to poop in the shower. We get it. You can stop. You can just not do this anymore. If you want to do this, may I suggest reading Tuesdays with Maury and getting some help.
I want him to put up a GoFundMe for like his back surgery or something, or like some kind of ergonomics shit.
He has $4 million.
I don't care. I would still put money into his funding, and I would share throughout all the internet So he gets
$4
everything that he
million. I'm
needs.
sure he can get whatever surgery he needs. But what he really needs is maybe some psychiatric help so that he can finally like unclench enough to accept the fact that he needs manga assistance.
Well, it seems like this run he did have assistants, and they were like helping him with like digital scanning and trying to figure out a process. Because like it was funny. Like the first author comment was from Togashi, and he says, "I want to draw the final manuscript. I want to draw the final manuscript. I want to draw the final manuscript." Like he's like this tortured guy who's like chained his desk by Shueisha and Shonen Jump, forced to produce art for our amusement, and they just like threw him away. And it's like, hey, staff assistant Yoshida here. I had so much fun drawing Hisoka. Ha ha ha! Hope you enjoyed the new chapter. So it seems like at some level he's like accepted some help. I don't know how much, but like it does feel like if it's just write the damn thing. Let someone else draw it.
Look, we can all agree that Berserk sucks, but it does have good art. Go hire that guy, and you can combine the fact that that guy can draw really well with the fact that you can write really well, and then we all
you mean
want.
like poach like the new Berserk people, like the whatchamacallit, the studio.
No, I'm sorry, not Berserk. Bleach.
Oh, Kubo.
Like, yeah. Like get that guy. The guy who just wants to make weird character designs and doesn't give a flying fuck about story. And get the person who is too crippled to properly draw anymore or go to the bathroom. And combine them into one functional mangaka.
Yeah, because that is a popular trend. They're like more like writer artist teams that are kind of like coming into fruition. Is like Japan.
I don't think Kubo would accept that though. I think Kubo really does love like traditional action-y shonen though. I feel like he might despise Togashi for making him draw panels like that. That's like surrounded by walls and walls of text,
Okay, we break one of his hands. Not his drawing hand. We just break his non-important hand. And then reassess where we are from there.
Who, Togashi's or Kubo's?
Kubo.
Because like that's
I never said this was going to be a voluntary process. It's going to be like Saul, except with that.
Just like get these two guys to like forced to like realize their limitations of writing and art and combine together to form like a super union to like move shit forward.
Yeah. Except we'll have like an anime mascot version of Jigsaw that's like really cute and designed to sell merch after we're done.
As like the final thing, because like the frustrating, I really enjoyed these 10 chapters, but it felt like considering how we waited like 4 or 5 years, and then it's just basically like the spiders creeping up in the Haley family's hideout, and then getting kicked out of the Haley family's outfit, and then we just move on to like a whole bunch of other fucking shit, and then you're like, oh god damn it, we moved 2 inch in these 10 chapters.
Yeah, that's my problem, is this might be my favorite arc, but I'm just so worn down from the waiting, and then the like, okay, we got 10 chapters. Oh god, we barely moved.
Well, Tom, I don't know why I say Tom. Scott, you caught up with Hunter x Hunter most recently, right?
Yeah.
So you got to experience all of Hunter x Hunter uninterrupted up until this point. So,
yes.
So now you are just experiencing the hiatus just for the first time in a long series of times that me and Isaac have experienced the hiatus.
Yeah, and it's stupid, and man should accept some kind of like medical assistance.
Well,
look. Do you want to end up like Maria?
Maria? No, hell no! Don't.
Yeah,
we need a GoFundMe. That's why we need a GoFundMe page for Togashi. Like, I don't know what he needs. He needs a hug. He needs some love. We need to buy him pizza.
No, what we need to do is we need to go GoFundMe to uh to pay for the assistant that he refuses to have, and then we need to pay for someone to kidnap Togashi, and then just solve the problem that way. Because I swear to God, if we get another one of those, it's like, oh yeah, I could have finished this, but I was really into idle games. Like, I'm pretty sure this is why Oda has just picked up the fucking pace.
Yeah.
Is it has to be pretty awkward seeing that on your peripheral.
Yeah, I do feel like Moira's death was like a huge wake up call to like a lot of people with long running series. Like it felt like it kicked like Oda in the ass, where it's like, oh fuck, I don't want to die with this uncompleted. I'm a smoker. I got to get this completed. I if nothing else, just like finish the fucking manga, and then I could be done, and I could go see my family. I can watch my daughter grow.
See, I would pay for a GoFundMe to pay somebody to stand near Oda and just spritz him in the head every time he tries to light a cigarette. Get cancer on your own time, you dumb fuck.
You're on the world's time, man. Come on. You're only a couple million chapters away from being the best-selling comic of all time.
What'd you guys think of the final chapters though of those last 10 chapters?
It was super interesting. I love the idea of like the Tyson and like their powers like manifest belief, and then it like transforms people into like these other beings. I think Tyson, like I really enjoy it. We haven't gotten like a huge amount of characterization for the princes, but I love the like all their different ethics. Like there's one guy who wants to develop like a super drug that's not addictive, that makes you better. There's the one who seems like the good guy, and he just wants to put an end to it, but then he sees that he can't put an end to it, so he just gets like this like, he's got this like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama energy of just being like a good political leader. You've got the super military guy who like punches the shit out of lions, who seems like he's the most capable, but probably the most dogmatic, and you've got the psycho girl who's just like the dumbest one, who just like walks in and thinks that like, haha, my Nen power is if you try to attack me, then I disable you, and then they just like don't like attack her spiritually or physically. I love all this dynamic. I just wish we got more of it.
I'd say in terms of Succession War, who has the biggest advantages? Benjamin, without a doubt, has the biggest advantage of them all. But he may not have like the capabilities of dealing with people like Tesseric or Hockenberg as of yet right now, because what Benjamin has that the others don't, for the most part, is intelligence gathering information, and that is so key in Nen battles and determining who wins.
Well, that's what makes the Succession War so fun. There are like so many different levels of espionage and counter espionage and Nen suicide squads and other elements of
oh god,
yes. Togashi has like built this like wonderful microcosm of the world on this stupid whale ship. You've got like, some princes are like connected to the mafia. The mafias believe in balance, but then there's this destroy them all balance, and then the spider. I love that scene where like the one guy like who's part of the Haley family, and he's like trying to recruit the spiders. He's like, don't you want to see the world burn? Don't you want to see it all collapse down? Yeah, anarchy forever. And then Nobunaga just stabs him in the head. And he's like, no, that's not what the spiders are about. We have fun, we take shit, but we don't want to destroy the world or change the world. We just want to live effortlessly in the world for our own purpose and enjoyment.
Yeah, and they're like ruthless. They're ruthless thieves, and they're like best friends too. And they have this like don't give a shit attitude about society and anybody else who wants to get in their way. And there's something like very endearing about that. That's like and Nobunaga, like after all like this these efforts of like gathering intelligence about people's Nen's abilities, like I love how the Phantom Troop is just so confident that they're like yes, there's like a certain level of analysis and like planning, but like Nobunaga is probably the least amount of that, and he goes in, he's like, I want to fuck these guys up.
One
Like,
thing I loved was that
I just want to fuck them up. I want to kill them. I'm just gonna go in and kill them.
what I really
right
enjoyed
now.
was that Nobunaga's relation, or the spider's relationship with that one guy from the Cha-Ra family, that like underboss who had like the JoJo power to transform inorganic things into animals and shit. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
He's like the perfect supporting character, like the guy who's like
Yes.
not all powerful, but he's competent enough to like just body mooks, but he knows his limitations, but he's like willing to like put his life on the line and like work collaboratively. He's not more powerful than the spiders, and I love it that he's like, he talks to Hisoka and he's like, could you please just like leave it out of us, let us deal with this? And he's like, but I love chaos, but we love you, we'll let you go after the spiders and do all your bullshit, just let us get rid of this problem, and then you can go have at it. And then Hisoka's like, so who do you like more, me or the spiders? And he's like, sorry, I like the spiders better. The spiders have like the Phantom Troop.
It's almost like Togashi's doing his like own little mini popularity poll of like in that panel right there. He's like, which one do you want to see live, the spiders or Hisoka? And like personally I love the spiders. I love Hisoka too, but I think I might love the spiders even more right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because like, Hisoka is such a great character and seems like a perfect antithesis to like someone like Gon. But I feel like Togashi is willing to, if he's willing to sideline Gon, he's willing to he might be even willing to kill off Hisoka. I don't know. Or maybe like permanently cripple him or something.
I was very surprised when they Hisoka's reintroduction, because it's the first time we've seen him since he murdered the two spiders, the little midget guy and the guy who kind of looks like Happy Krapika Shalnark. And I thought he was going to be like unhinged. Yeah. I thought he was going to be like, he was basically going to be like Pet Cemetery Hisoka, where he's like reanimated by he's kind of like drooling. Yeah. He looks a little undead, but he was like really put together and really rational. So I was very surprised, because I always thought like Pet Cemetery Hisoka after his first death was like, after Nen, he's abandoning all his rules and ethics of fighting after Crollo just kind of undermined him completely. Because if Crollo was not going to fight fair, then I'm going to fight like Crollo.
Right. Yeah, I love that about Hisoka too, where he had that moment where he just like fucking snapped. He's like, fuck it. I'm tired of dealing with Crollo's bullshit. I'm gonna cripple him in his powers. His bullshit power. He specifically targeting those two. Those were two abilities that Crollo borrowed temporarily that helped him win against his fight against Crollo. Hisoka.
Yeah, that is probably why he killed them first, because he was just so pissed off that he thought he could win by not trying to fight fair, but then once he saw that that's how Crollo fights, he's like, fuck that noise.
Yeah, definitely.
See, what I want to know is, after seeing the spider's backstories, like, did this feels so antithetical to how they were formed, killing all of Kurapika's extended family. That feels really weird to me.
That is one thing I'm really
Yeah.
curious to learn if there's like some new facet to the story. So here's my theory that I think might happen. Because like, all right, so here's the facts of information. The spiders were formed when one of their friends was killed by like a mafia connection who was like kidnapping kids from Meteor City, and that's kind of like what turned their darker tinge. Because Crollo's kind of like a smart kid who's really capable. He could have had a much brighter future, but that blackened him to the point where like he learns Nen and he forms this murder troupe. I did love that like originally they're the Phantom Troupe because they were a dubbing team in a theater performance, but
Yes.
that was like the most obvious reveal. But like I still loved seeing it in action. So what I think the smartest thing to do is that like somehow they murdered the Krapika tribe, not necessarily because they're just evil, but maybe they somehow thought that like a member of the Kurta tribe was responsible as a part of the mafia.
Oh, like maybe they were manipulated to murder all the
Yeah,
Red Eyes
and I feel
clan
like
or something, or-
Tessernick could be the connecting thing. Because hypothetically, he could be the one who was like running the mafia that was like getting people from Meteor City. Because the interesting, how many of you here have read the Krapika one shot that Togashi put out for the?
Yeah, you showed that to me.
So at the
Yeah,
very
I read
end, they give like this. It's just black pages, and they give like a graphic description of like oh, they were murdered, looking at each other. The men watched the women die. The little children were put in front of their parents. Their eyes were ripped out. It's so brutal and violent and awful looking. Oh my god, it's so awful. But then they had a thing that said, whatchamacallit, don't the famous phrase, don't take anything from us or we'll take everything from you or something like that.
I don't remember what it was.
It's we'll take anything that's given, but don't take anything.
Yeah. All right, you're right. That's what it was. It was leave whatever you want here, but don't take anything from us. Which to me, like, implies that there was some sort of transgression or wrong that happened to them from the Kurtza clan. So to me, it feels like there has to be some sort of connection between Tessernick. It feels like it's too good of a plot thread to like not use when there's like enough connective tissue in there.
And the weird thing about Tessernick, well, you saw his collection
Yeah.
of eyes, right? The fact that he has it seems pretty obvious is the head of Karapika's former best friend, right? Floating in a jar. So what is the significance of that? Why is that? Why does he have that floating head in a jar? That's a big mystery to me. It seems like he plays a bigger part in the extinction of the Karapika clan than it's led to believe, than just a collector.
Yeah, there might be some sort of reason. I really want to see him. He's such a good like Patrick Bateman villain. I really enjoyed like few moments we've gotten of Tersinik. Like Togashi's got some like really good all-time villains, but he might be the king of the sack, like just the evil Patrick Bateman, human body art collector, master manipulator, vile.
Even better than Gyro, Isaac. You're dissing Gyro right now.
Yeah. How can you forget Gyro, the best character of Hunter x Hunter?
You don't remember Gyro?
No.
From the Chimera Ant arc? The guy who's introduced in the background, like, oh my god.
Oh, that guy.
I would follow him to the ends of the earth. He is so, and we go into his backstory and like how brutal his childhood was and everything, and then the fact that Gyro disappears from the whole Chimera Ant scene. It's just like what could have been. It's all like what could have been. Imagine if Gon and Gyro met, like those two would have went to war with each other and Gyro might have won or some bullshit like that, But it's fortunate for Gon that he never met Gyro, that kind of thing. It's like that kind of like foreboding, like foreshadowing that is like so over the top. Random gyro character who's supposed to be this amazingly badass villain in the future.
Yeah, because remember,
you know?
he ran the drug operation. He was like the head of the drug operation. He gets this whole big backstory. He comes from this
Right.
like abusive father, but his only pride is that his father like came into him one night and he like took care of him when he was like sick with a fever. And that was, but then his father, you learn that was a lie. And then he kills his father and becomes the greatest villain of all time until the Chimera ants come and they kill him and then they eat him. And like some of the subtext is that one of the reasons why they're so malicious is initially is because the fact that they ate Gyro and his maliciousness somehow colored their nature. But when you know how sometimes humans reincarnate via if their consciousness is strong. Yeah, so there's a scene where he like walks off into the distance in a hood and you don't see him. They're like. So me and Greg keep on saying like Gyro's out there, whatchamacallit, Togashi's gonna play the Gyro card any day now.
Yeah, it's gonna be the world's biggest payoff that's ever paid off. You know,
World's greatest Chekhov's gun.
The greatest Chekhov's gun. We're all waiting for Gyro. He's coming any minute now. Just you wait. The terror, the age of Gyro is about to begin any minute now.
What if he just like shows up randomly on the Dark Continent? That'd be so.
God, like funny. I'm starting to wonder though. Like, do you think like after the Succession War ends and they get to the Dark Continent, like Gon's just gonna be there? And he said, "I met my grandfather. I had this great adventure, but hey, welcome back here. It's so fun to have you." And then that's just the end of the series.
Wait, Gon's gonna magically show up at the.
I have this theory in my head that like that's how Togashi reintroduces Gon. That like the whale ship pulls up to the Dark Continent after the Succession War, and then Gon like through some weird new training swam there, and he's just like, "Hey, Kurapika and Leorio, it's so fun to see you here."
God, I hope not.
That would be pretty lame. Yeah, that would be pretty lame. Oh, maybe they could use a Deus Ex Machina of what's her name? Or what's his name? Her name?
Aluka? Is that what you're talking about?
Aluka. Yeah,
what,
Aluka.
like just wish him there? Yeah. You're right. That's the easiest mechanism. And you're right. Him swimming there would be fucking stupid.
Yes.
Aluka's probably the best way for him to like get there. Although who the fuck knows? I mean, I'm really enjoying the Succession War. The way it's going right now, it feels like it would take like another 50 chapters or 60 chapters to end. It was like, that was another thing we haven't talked about. What did you guys think of Fugetsu, who like the poor girl who lost her sister and now seems to be tearing herself apart?
Yeah. I feel like there would be more emotional impact if this was more continuous.
Yeah.
I still feel for Fugetsu because I tend to what I do before I start Hunter x Hunter again, I reread through everything. I reread through everything basically, so
Okay.
Sorry, I'm taking selfies somehow with Mir.
Can you do this expression?
Oh, that expression? Hold on.
Because like, well, I agree with it. Like, if you had more like narrative forward momentum and saw her more, but like the one thing I know, you love Melody, right? Like Melody's a perfect supporting character.
Yes. Melody is
So I thought that like the big thing you love is like now there's all these political dynamics over who controls Melody, and like all the various princes are like jockeying for her Nen powers.
Yeah, like they see how advantageous it is to use Melody as a way to win the Succession War and assassinate princes and shit like that. So yeah, so she's been caught up in like in the higher in the higher courts, like legal systems inside the ship, and like it's complicated. Like if she's ever gonna get out of that, but what I wanted to say about Fugetsu, yeah, I reread like a lot of the previous chapters, so I reread the scene where she lost her sister, Katja, and that was pretty tragic. Like I can really emphasize with her that she lost her best friend and sister. Um,
Yeah, I do think that was like a highlight
um,
chapter. That was like a 10 out of 10 perfect manga moment. I love that chapter where they trying to do that attempted escape, and it's like super dark, where like the sister's dead body's just floating in this raft, where no one will know about it, as this like imitation beast is stuck there with her forever, trying to tell her a lie to cope with her.
yeah, yeah. God, I don't see Fugetsu getting out of this alive. Like, she's got these things, like these other Nen beasts, like attached to her that are like eating away at her, and she's like using more and more of her Nen. Uh, so eventually it's gonna deplete, and she's gonna
Yeah, I do
die.
see like most of the like maybe 2 or 3 princes get out of it alive. I don't see how many of them. It seems like a perfect death trap, and there's no like direct way to end it perfectly. And it just seems like, well, didn't they suggest that there was like some way in the last chapter that they might be able to, if I remember correctly? Uh,
That's a theory they had, but
oh
I mean, if you remember previous chapters with Hockenberg, and the king, Hockenberg threatened the king to end the succession war, but the king is like, I couldn't even stop it, even if I tried. And he was held, he was held by gunpoint by Hockenberg. So I imagine it was like, I mean, but then again, he knew that he would still live because his Nem Beast would
yeah,
protect him.
I also love that dark moment where it's like, there's no way out of this. There's no diplomatic solution. If you have the king seize the strength, if that was some real HBO Game of Thrones shit. And then
Yeah.
Hockenberg walks out of it, with a new renewed sense of purpose, as he just like, walks out with like a fucking hyper Nen arrow, accepting his destiny and providence,
Yeah.
despite being like, the more moderate or one of the better intentioned of the princes.
Yeah, I like his character progression. He went from like, wanting to do the right thing, being moderate, and trying to appeal to the goodwill of the king, to eventually realize there is no other way out besides winning this succession war and changing things from within the empire, instead of trying to change other people. He's like, you should change yourself, and you should win the succession war, so the other brothers who have more malicious intents don't win the throne.
The only way you could bring about peace is to kill your siblings, kill your family. Oh God, the succession war is like, it was so funny how we were all hyped about the Dark Continent, but now the succession war, which just seemed like the side thing, is now like the most all-encompassing, most super interesting thing.
It really is, yeah. By the way, Scott, I don't know, you're on mute, just so you know.
All right.
Yeah, I had to move some stuff around.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank
Fuck
you.
up Isaac's audio.
But yeah, it's such a good, interesting arc. Because like, I don't know, for Zavul, do you think it's like your favorite arc in Hunter x Hunter so far? Since we're like, I don't know, maybe 60%, or like, we got like 50 plus chapters of it. Oh, you muted again. Maybe he's moving around some more.
Yeah, I would say it's my favorite.
It's definitely like the most interesting. It's got like the most complex narrative, the most best character interactions. It's this whole like fucking, and it's interesting when you compare it. Like, I guess Wano feels bloated because there's so many stupid characters who don't contribute anything, or they're much more goofy. While Hunter x Hunter is like a much darker world where the stakes are kind of like aren't as magical, but because they're like more real and gritty, and like children are getting strangled in their bed chambers, and it just like the scene where they invade the Haley family hideout feels like they're getting into this Texas Chainsaw Massacre murder den. So it just adding more characters doesn't feel as frustrating. It feels like you're just building a richer tapestry.
It also helps that he's willing to take tangents and, I guess, do the necessary legwork to make these characters more interesting. Like, Wano, you just keep getting introduced to more and more characters, and some of them get backstory. But oh god, so many of them don't.
Yes.
And while Togashi might be a little meandering, I mean, that's kind of the charm, that you meet people and you're interested in them, and they come back. Like Melody. Like, you first introduced him, and it's like, oh yeah, that is fucking Mook Face. That's gonna die. Oh, that's gonna die so fast.
Oh my god! And then just learning about the Devil's Song shit, and then her showing like her like disfigured like scar to Kurapika, like it just put so much like richness into that character, like that made you feel so much more invested in her.
And a lot of the characters that are introduced that don't get that backstory. I mean, I love Oda, and I love the weird characters he creates, but you can only introduce so many wacky side characters before you just get really, really overloaded on it. And having a lot of your side cast that you introduce act like normal, intelligent people that don't need a bunch of quirks and weird behavior to like kind of try and hook you into them. It's like, okay, there are like 10 people here and they're talking about something important, and they just do that thing rather than 10 people that you were just introduced to, and 5 of them act like fucking lunatics, and you were never given good reason why. And you have to suffer through that behavior every single time they come back on screen.
Yeah, there are a lot of like just gimmick characters who never really outlived their gimmick, and it just feels like you're wasting time for like things that you've done better work for. While like the Hunter x Hunter characters are like a lot less anime, and they're a lot more subdued, and they have more human interaction. So when you see Melody stuck in this like political bargaining strike after trying to do the right thing, it just feels very rich.
Yeah, it's like, hey, here are 10 mafia people talking about their mafia stuff. They're gonna do that, and then they're gonna leave and continue doing that in normal ways. This is not going to tax you or drive you up a wall in any way, because this is somehow advancing the story, as opposed to, here are 10 mafia people. One of them has, I don't know, like a giant turnip for a head, and speaks exclusively in turnip puns. This guy over here wears giant blocks for shoes. Why? Because he's afraid of being short, but he sure does clump all over the place and complain about his feet being heavy for no apparent reason. Half the dialogue is just going to be stupid puns and screaming at each other. Is this advancing the plot? Probably, but not in any really noticeable way that could take half as long if they wouldn't just shut the fuck up and act like normal people for 5 minutes. Not everyone needs a gimmick. Fuck.
And in contrast, you have situations like in Hunter x Hunter where even the where's it one of the servants, Shimano, has such a big character moment where she goes against Kurapika's wishes, and instead of putting the first prince on the phone line, she gives him the third prince, and it's like, and she has this like facial expression, like she's like almost like a like, boy, you don't know shit about the politics in the fucking succession war. I'm not listening to you, Karapika. And then Karapika's got this super frustrated look, and he's just like, "Fine, you win this time, Shimano." And then it just like stuff like that really makes any like all these stupid minor characters like shine so brightly. And like
Yeah,
now
I mean, even
I remember her name. I remember Shimano.
yeah, even the guy currently toddling around with one of the spiders.
The Char,
Shit.
the Char,
Right now,
the
I'm like,
Chara family guy.
yeah. Like if this was One Piece, as much as I love it, he would have like 3 different gimmicks and like a shit ton of like weird facial fracture emotes and shit that we have cycled through already. Whereas these like, okay, we're doing this. All right. I mean, you're the professional here. What do you plan on doing? It's like, okay. I think we can all agree that we're all an organization of professionals, and none of us is just going to have food randomly stuck to our face for no
Yeah,
reason.
it feels like for every 10, like Oda has like a 1 in 10 hit rate. Like for every big news Morgan, there's like a Hamlet or Gorilla guy or Toby Ropo or just like always like a dumb gimmick character that just doesn't stick. While Togashi always finds like purposeful things and like gives his like side characters like little moments, or even if
Yeah.
they're Mookie guys, you know, they have like this somewhat like level of competence where you like appreciate it. Like I like this mafia guy is not super important. He's just a jobber, but he's a really efficient jobber who's smart about his job. Like I love that moment where he gets teleported to their thing, and then he just like immediately like jumps down in a defensive position, and he's got his like switchblade out, like just prepared to like for someone to like gank him in the back.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I think part of the reason everybody fucking loves Big News Morgan is he's a bird. He's a giant weird bird. And we later find out he, in fact, is a zone user. He just likes being a giant bird for reasons. But that's not his personality. He doesn't squawk. He doesn't throw eggs at people. He's just some fucking newsie that also happens to enjoy being a bird. He has his own personality completely separate from the fact that he's a bird. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking bird. And
He's like
we have more important shit to do. The news!
Yeah, he's like the first news-oriented character I think we've ever been introduced in One Piece. And so I think that adding that to like the whole world building of One Piece is pretty interesting, because like he gets to control the flow of information to an extent, you know, barring that the world government doesn't censor him somehow or whatever. But seeing him play a big role in like the One Piece world is pretty fun and interesting.
Oh yeah, it's like you can have weird character designs and weird quirks. It's just that can't be their entire personality, and then expect people to not be pissed off about it.
There's like there are too many like
Right.
Gimmick characters that just feel like they're a waste of time. Like I don't know why we needed the Yakuza members of like, you know, in Wano. I think you could have cut off like maybe like 5 of the red scabbards, maybe to more of a cohesive unit. We didn't need all of them. We didn't need the big-headed ninja. I'm trying. Yeah, Raizo.
Raizo. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
But this is why like Buggy is such a huge success. It's like his entire personality isn't I am a fucking clown. It's I am a cowardly, greedy, inflated, pompous asshole who can never back up anything he does. It's not just like running around and like hitting people with pies and seltzer water all the fucking time. He has an actual personality, and he also happens to be a fucking clown.
Which is definitely the strength of Togashi, his sort of superpower, and sort of. But that's also the eternal struggle of Hunter x Hunter. Is that what makes it terrifying and frustrating to follow? Is the constant hiatuses. I don't mind the meandering. The meandering quality is what makes it good. But that's what we come for. But like what you still seem to have this weird sort of pride, and you can't figure out like if we got one chapter a month, I'd be perfectly happy with that. I don't mind having like inconsistent schedules. Just have a schedule. I think that's what drives fans insane. Is that like you've earned the world from us, but just like find something and we'll just be happy for what we get. It just like let us know what's happening.
That.
By the way, I have a theory. Towards the end of the chapters, I have a theory who Silent Majority is. Do you remember Silent Majority? The Silent Majority
I thought that
user?
they completely forgot about that plot thread. Wasn't that so? Let me see if I can remember this correctly. Silent Majority was like the secret like stand like Nen ability that was like murdering people when Kurapika was trying to do his Nen training, right? Yep. I thought like Kurapika just like left that. Did they ever like finish that story thread of Silent Majority?
No, they didn't. It just kind of faded, disappeared after a while because I don't know. It hasn't. Silent Majority decided not to strike again for some reason. So
give your
so that the last character who I think it was like in the final panels of before Togashi took his hiatus. There's this one character. It's like a security guard for the fifth prince, Tabababa or Tababa or something.
All right,
like that.
Greg. I have like apparently they revealed the user of Silent Majority. So yeah,
they did. But when did they reveal it?
I'd have to reread the chapters, but I'll send you the summary. But so apparently he's a soldier for Prince Benjamin.
No way. No way. No way. I cannot believe that. Because what's his name? Kirkhoff, you know that guy. The guy who was like able to detect who Nen users are by looking at them in the eyes. Like him not knowing like what's going on with
all right. Maybe you're right.
Like,
maybe I read it wrong. They're just talking about Silent Majority, but he's not the user. Yeah. All right. So maybe maybe you're right. Maybe Silent Majority still hasn't been revealed.
Yes. So it's I think it's this character that was introduced at the final panel. That is going to be Silent Majority user. And if you kind of look back at the previous chapters where Silent Majority was like right before Silent Majority was first introduced, you see this character, I think it's a she. You see this character kind of give like a death stare almost at the guy who steps over the white line that Kurapika made. Like I feel like at that point, like that was maybe a slight sliver of foreshadowing that that character was going to assassinate the guy that stepped over the white line with Silent Majority.
Kind of. I vaguely remember it. I'm like skimming through the chapter. I'm trying to like look at the person who's like giving the evil look. But like that's a section I'd probably need to reread or watch a recap of, because like that was like goddamn years ago. And I forgot about the whole silent
I know.
majority like Nen training, and I thought like Togashi forgot about it as well. But yeah, I'm looking at it where like the guy gets attacked and like all their life force gets sucked out, right? And then like snakes appear.
Yeah, yeah. It maybe been like a few chapters before that right before, like a few chapters before Silent Majority actually attacks, that we see uh, this character pop up next to Tuppa Bubba's other bodyguard, and I think the fact that we see that character in like some of the same panels as the other guy that was killed by Silent Majority kind of hints at it, you know?
Good. Interesting thing. The question is, did Togashi forget about Silent Majority?
Hell no, he never forgets. He'll remember Jaro until the day he dies. You know, that's the kind of guy he is.
All right, we've been going for a while. I'm sure you guys want to go be with your significant others, go get dinner and whatnot. Yeah, so
Okay, I gotta make
let's wrap
dinner
this
soon.
up. What is your rating for the last this chunk of 10 chapters for Hunter x Hunter?
10 out of 10.
Jesus Christ, Greg.
Every time. At any point in Hunter x Hunter, it's almost every point in Hunter x Hunter has been a 10 out of 10.
Oh my god, I love Hunter x Hunter, but I don't know if I love it that much. I'd give this like maybe an 8. I really enjoyed it, but it was like not much narrative progression, which I always kind of like. Given the publication status, I always kind of like gets a lot of annoyance from me, and I think there are solutions for Togashi to get it. I love the fact that we got the spider backstory. I enjoyed the let's hunt down the Haley family, but by the same token, the Haley family are just jobbers, so I just want to see them killed to move on to more interesting things. But I enjoy the ride. I just wish Togashi could figure out a way that he's happy with, so he can get the ride on a more consistent basis, and he could like do all the stuff he loves without having to worry about pooping in the shower, and we could just see this ride go on, and we don't have the specter of Moira's corpse or Nen Beast coming back from the grave, stalking him with like a pencil in his like projected form to like stab him before we can actually get a definitive end, or at least an end to this arc.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's wow. Well put. Well put, Isaac. But still
right,
10 out of 10 for me. Even with his health
Zabul,
problems.
your thoughts?
8 out of 10. The only reason it's not lower is we got Spider backstory, and that to me, the Spider's backstory, 10 out of 10. This is fucking wonderful. I am always delighted to see Togashi's weird tangents, but oh man, I feel like we didn't really go anywhere. And after, I know, I'm a hiatus baby, but after the hiatus, I just want some kind of forward progress.
Oh, Scott. You will learn one day to have so much gratitude just for the 2 chapters of Togashi, and then a year in hiatus. Like sometimes that can sustain you for quite a while,
It's almost like that meme, the Simpsons meme, where it's like today was the worst day, and then Homer comes in. Today was the worst day so far. It's like, oh my god, I just caught up with Hunter x Hunter, waiting for more. This was the worst hiatus ever. And then Homer comes in and says, "This was the worst hiatus. This was the first worst hiatus." It's waiting for like more hiatuses to come to your future.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right. So I think that's fair. I would like. I feel like we deserve more narrative momentum, even though Togashi did give us some really good stuff. I don't know if that was the best time to do the spider backstory, but it's better than not getting it. And we got Hisoka back. So, but I wish things like moved a little bit further. I wish we got Tessernick instead of like his friend squad telling an interesting story about Tessernick.
Oh, by the way, when silent majorities were introduced, that's chapter 369.
Well, now we'll have to see what comes back first, Gyro or silent majority.
Silent majority for sure. It's definitely assassinations.
All right,
going
so
on.
that was a fun catch up. Thank you guys for obliging me on this New Year's Eve day for like talking about all this manga and anime. It was so fun to weeb out with you guys. I always enjoy it. And thank you for coming on with me.
Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you for listening. And have let's 2023 be a better year than 2022 and 2021 and 2020, and maybe the roaring 2020s will stop screwing us over royally, and we can actually have a good time and not have to worry about nuclear war, disease, and all the other fun shit.
Way to fucking end that.
Well, anime forever. I don't know. I'm working on a tagline. I don't have a good one yet.
Probably gonna fucking die, but maybe not this year.
There you go. All right. Take it easy. And have a good one.